I slipped, all right? I'm still thinking VCR.
All right. Today, the Trump administration is expanding its crime crackdown in D.C. by deploying over 400 members of the National Guard. The number of troops on patrol is expected to double by the end of the week.
So Mark Meredith is in Washington at the White House with the details. Hey, Mark.
Brian, what's a VCR? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm old enough for that. Good morning to you guys. The D.C. crime crackdown continues with at least 100 arrests already made this week, and the Trump administration expected to deploy more resources throughout the district by this weekend. We have seen a number of crimes still pop up, though, with homicides as well as other notable events. There are still questions how long this deployment may last. The president says the federalization of D.C.'s police department is years overdue. He also hopes to extend this emergency despite lingering questions on his authority to do so.
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously.
Some protests have popped up. There are reports there's a huge uptick in demand for paid protesters, with some having ties to far less activist groups. This was one that we saw on Monday. There's also an immigration tie to all this, officials vowing to secure D.C., similar to what we saw in border communities over earlier this year. And some people are also still testing the limits, with one man facing now federal charges of assault on an officer after allegedly throwing a Subway sandwich at police while they were on patrol.
He thought it was funny. Well, he doesn't think it's funny today because we charged him with a felony, assault on a police officer. And we're going to back the police to the hilt. So there, stick your Subway sandwich somewhere else.
Congress will also get its say in all of this. They remain on their August recess, but you can imagine this debate over the authority over D.C. will come back front and center when they return in September. Brian, Ainsley, and Lawrence.
Hey, Mark, is it disconcerting, or how would you describe seeing the camouflage, the trucks, the military at the mall and everything? What's it like there?
It's not what you may think. You know, my wife asks me every day, she's like, where are the National Guard troops? We've been looking throughout Union Station. There's some there right on the National Mall near the Washington Monument. The idea here is to just show a strength of force, that the idea that there is a problem here that is being addressed. There is still this debate here locally with the mayor, the police chief about authority, whether or not this is necessary or not. But the real question, guys, will we see a difference here a month from now? Will crime have significantly come down, or will there still be issues? And I truly believe by this weekend, when we usually see those huge outbursts of violent events, whether they're at the wharf or on the National Mall, whether or not that happens or not. I think that'll be the true test. I would set your VCR, Brian, if you want to find out.
Play record, baby.
Well played, Mark.
Thank you very much.
So the president implemented this Making D.C. Safe and Beautiful task force, and in less than a week, they've taken 100 violent criminals off the streets. I think it's great. I wouldn't mind seeing the National Guard, especially if it's in areas where there's a lot of crime. I mean, think about Times Square. There's a lot of crime there. We cover a lot of stories there. If they had National Guard troops in Times Square, it would make me feel safer.
So a couple of things about the National Guard. The reason why you need the National Guard is to free up some of the other law enforcement officials when they're at the monuments covering those shifts. Now you put the National Guard there, you free up those local law enforcement so they can be in the community doing the policing there. The second thing I've discovered as I talk to Democrats and try to get their POV, they really don't disagree that there's a crime problem. As a matter of fact, I was listening to another network, and they were reading a text message from someone very liberal who said that they agree with the crime being a problem, but they just don't like the president and think that he's using this for PR. So,
yeah, there's another thing to add to that, too. I saw Maggie Haberman, and I think it was Ezra Klein, Chris Kaliza, so known for center-left columnists and podcasters. They said, hey, Democrats, don't get on the wrong side of this. Think about it, because you're going to bat for crime. Because if you go against Trump just because on instinct, you're going to find yourself boxed into a corner because you have these anecdotes of Henry Cuellar getting carjacked, the Democratic congressman, a congresswoman from Minnesota being assaulted on her way to an apartment. You have a shooting a block away from the White House. You had a murder on Sunday night. So as you criticize, people are saying, well, I live here and I kind of agree with the president, even if I didn't vote for him. So don't get boxed in here. Pick your spots.
Right. I mean, we can relate to that living in New York City. I mean, even our Democratic friends were excited when crime started going down in this city, because when you're living in a city that you love so much, and like we talked about yesterday in Baltimore, where crime is so bad, when you live there and you used to take your kids to the park and have picnics and have outdoor movies like this article talked about, the lady in Baltimore wants to sell her house. She can't sell it because there are drug deals going on right across the street from her. The real estate agent said, there's no one that's going to buy your house. There are 12 people right across the street doing drugs and selling drugs. So she said, I'm stuck and I can't afford to just leave without selling my house. It was you that interviewed the governor yesterday, right? The governor of Maryland. And Wes Moore had this to say. He doesn't agree with sending in the National Guard. Listen.
We were able to receive some really encouraging and historic results in Baltimore and around the state of Maryland, and I never once had to mobilize the National Guard in order to accomplish those feats. But I can tell you right now, what people want more than anything in those communities is they don't want performative, they want performance. Right? They're not looking for someone to walk around with military fatigues and a big gun. They're looking for someone who actually understands how to make people feel safe and how to make people actually safe in their communities. Our National Guards are not trained for this. I'm very specific about my role as Commander-in-Chief of the Maryland National Guard, and we know the missions that they are trained for, and municipal policing is not one of them. And so if we want to be serious about making people safe, let's actually do the things that make people safe.
So my point to the governor was, you guys have made some progress, but you're still number 3 when it comes to murders. You haven't accomplished the goal here. So why not use every resource that you need? And my final comment to him as he was talking about the National Guard is like, they should be overseas. And I simply put to him, there's more brothers dying here than overseas. Right. So why wouldn't you send as much of the resources that you could to solve this problem?
And I just want to add this. When Kathy Hochul put the National Guard in the subways, was that their natural environment? No. But she said, I want to give people the sense of security. So they're back up. If things get out of control, riots happen, they're going to go in. Got it. But here's the other thing to keep in mind. There's a message being sent from Los Angeles to D.C. now. If you don't straighten up your city, we're sending in the National Guard, which you don't want, you find embarrassing, and you think it's a victory for Trump. Well, if you don't want it, straighten out your act. It's also highlighted the fact that there are 800 cops down in D.C. There are 3,000 down in New York. There are about 4,000, if not more, in Los Angeles. So it underlines, wow, why don't we have the forces? We do have the money, but we don't have the interest, because for the longest time you marginalize cops and you're not prosecuting criminals. It's all related. It was all outlined with the president's team on Monday.
Caroline Leavitt is going to be with us around 8:20 this morning, the White House press secretary. We'll ask her all about this.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.